So that would probably be where everyone is in now, I guess. All right.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to our talk this evening, Accelerating the Development of Higher States of Consciousness, an Introduction to the TM Siddhis program. Thank you for joining us. We'll be hearing tonight from several speakers.
This meeting is being recorded.
Our first speaker is Dr. Doug Burks, who is one of the most experienced TM Siddhis administrators in the world. Dr. Burks has worked closely with TM's founder, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, for decades to introduce the TM Siddhis program to tens of thousands of TM meditators in countries around the globe. Dr. Burks and his wife, Dr. Linda Burks, are both recipients of the Medal of Enlightened Leadership. We'll also be hearing from Dr. Fred Travis, who is a neuroscientist and one of the world's leading researchers in the field of meditation and brain functioning. He's the founder of the Center for Brain, Consciousness, and Cognition at Maharishi International University in Fairfield, Iowa. Over the past several decades, Dr. Travis has authored or co-authored more than 100 peer-reviewed scientific papers exploring the effects of TM practice, of the TM Siddhis practice, on the brain, consciousness, human development, and world peace. We're also joined by Linda Burks, TM Siddhis Administrator, Amrita Srivastava, TM Siddhis Administrator, and Melody Katz, TM Siddhis Administrator. So thank you for joining us. I'll turn this over to Dr. Doug Burks.
Jai Gurudev, everyone. There we go. Jai Gurudev, everyone, and welcome to this Zoom connection tonight. We're very, very happy to have you all connected, and there will be, I think the numbers are even higher than have connected yet, and so there'll be more connecting, more coming in as we're going along. Tonight, we want to start with a group meditation. So I'm going to ask, before we start speaking, just to settle everyone together. We're in all different parts of the United States, but we'll settle everyone in, and please, everyone, join us, and Linda will take us through that.
So everyone just sit comfortably and let's close our eyes. Pick up the mantra easily and effortlessly.
Fucking serious right now? We're all gonna fucking sit quietly for that many fucking minutes. This guy's not even meditating, he's looking around. He doesn't have to.
Jai Gurudev. Take several minutes, and after a few minutes, I'll say Jai Gurudev again, and then we'll open our eyes. Jai Gurudev. Let's open our eyes.
Jai Gurudev, everyone. Very, very happy to be connected with all of you tonight. And it's very appropriate that we started with transcendental meditation. Because when we want to talk about the TM Siddhis program, we have to start from where we are, from what we know. And what you know is, in fact, all of you who've been invited to this lecture tonight have started working your way through the advanced techniques of transcendental meditation. That means you are very good meditators, that you saw the benefit of your transcendental meditation. And when you heard there could be a step to increase the progress that you were making and enjoy more of that, and working your way through the 1, 2, 3, and 4 advanced techniques to transcendental meditation, you started that. So some of you are in different places, but everyone is practicing transcendental meditation. And the principle here is just what you learned when you learned your technique, that we start from the surface thinking level of the mind, and we have a technique to use the mantra. And as we use it, it gets less clear and less distinct and slips away eventually, and we arrive at that wholeness or completeness or source of thought. Sam, would you show that slide on transcendental meditation, please?
Yes.
There we go. So this is that familiar bubble diagram when you all learn transcendental meditation. This is the bubble diagram that was your teachers put on the board and so on. And really is, from the earliest days, was the way that Maharishi explained the process of transcending, like bubbles on the surface, and then, but the bubble is originating from the source. And as we use our technique, we then experience finer and finer and finer levels of our thinking process and arrive at that source of thought. And so very appropriate that we started off with transcendental meditation, because to understand either any of our techniques, transcendental meditation, our advanced techniques, or the TM Siddhis program, transcendental meditation is the basis, the basic experience of all these advanced forces, and accelerating our growth to the state of enlightenment is based on our ability to transcend. So when Maharshi was traveling around the world in all the early days, he was just continually traveling from France to England to India to Africa to Australia to the United States. And as he would go, he was teaching people what your experience is, the ability and the technique of transcending. And it was revolutionizing people's lives and experience. And so he just kept going from country to country, and then maybe he'd be gone for 6 months or a year. And then he would come back and he would have an advanced meeting, and he would see how people's experience, would tap their experiences, what their experiences were that were coming forward, and their experience and understanding of the development of consciousness and the experience of transcending. While he was doing this, he was also teaching advanced techniques, which you all started into. And the advanced techniques, Sam, maybe we can switch to that. Yeah, thank you. Advanced techniques, in this slide it says gaining greater familiarity with the transcendence. And Maharshi used to use the analogy about spreading when you are proficient with diving and then you into the water and going to the bottom, you learn how to open your hands, and then you start to get familiar with the finer levels of experience, which is extremely important as our consciousness develops. So TM, advanced techniques, and we're very happy that we have Amrita Srivastava with us here tonight, and she not only is a TM City administrator, but also an advanced technique teacher. And I asked her to, if she would read a quote from Maharshi describing the experience and the benefits of advanced techniques to the TM practice.
Thank you, Dr. Parks, and Siddhis, everyone. So I will display the quote and then I read it. Just some words of inspiration from Maharshiji regarding the advanced techniques. So advanced techniques add to the efficiency of the program of transcending. The process of transcending and the purpose of transcending are served more efficiently, more comprehensively, and with this, the effect of TM through these advanced techniques is more helpful to speed up the process of evolution, which is the process of enlightenment, which is the process of arriving at the level of unity consciousness, which harnesses the total potential of natural law in every stroke of performance. He mentioned this in February 1987, the importance of advanced techniques.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for reading that to us and finding such a beautiful quote to demonstrate that. So as Maharshi was traveling and teaching TM and teaching advanced techniques and holding checking sessions and experience meetings with people around the world, he was looking deeply at what their experience was. And at some point, something became clear. And what became clear was transcending was, over some period of time and advanced techniques, transcending was getting more easy, more direct, more innocent, and more established. And when this level of experience started to come forward, then Maharishi brought out the TM Siddhi program. Before that time, we hadn't heard about the TM Siddhi program or known that there was anything else beyond the advanced techniques that could enhance or speed up our ability to stabilize that state of enlightenment. Sam, would you bring up that slide on that? Yes, good. So here we have the bubble diagram again, but it says TM Siddhi program, learning to function from within the transcendence. So I think you all understand the point. When transcending started to get easy, comfortable, innocent, and very direct and very effective. Some of you may think, well, the first time I meditated, I transcended, it worked very well. But the development of that and the ease of that and stresses going out from the practice of transcendental meditation that you know about, as the mind settles down, body gets a deeper level of rest. Some corresponding mental activity comes up, and that's a thought coming back out into bringing us up toward the top of the bubble diagram again. So this establishment of transcending and ease of transcending, it was then that Maharishi felt, oh, something new could be added to the program. And this new aspect was not the experience for transcending, but was based on the experience of transcending, in which we started to think and act, learn how to think and act from the transcendent. In the tape that we're going to play you today, you'll hear Maharishi said, if we could stay there, everyone would like to stay there. Because at this point, we have two different aspects. We have ourself at the innermost aspect of what we are, that wholeness, that completeness, and we know that that is ourself. And yet we know that the outer aspect of is also ourself. Our hair will be a little bit longer tomorrow, and over time it may change color and so on like that. But the ever changing on the outside of life and the never changing on the inside of life. And so if there was a way that we could shrink the gap, is the way I'm going to present it. And what gap are we talking about? We're talking about the gap between our ability to transcend and that time that would eventually be coming, even with just our TM practice and our advanced techniques, where we didn't lose that transcendent value when we were in activity. When we were in the changing value, we didn't lose that value that was supporting and actually bringing about the whole changing value. So there was a dichotomy. There was the inner value, never changing, outer value, always changing. And Maharishi wanted to stabilize our ability to think and act from that level of pure consciousness. And to shrink that gap in time, that eventually it would be coming about, even with just our TM practice, but we could move more quickly. And this is when he introduced the TM Siddhi program. And that was about, maybe started talking about it in 76, really introducing it to some courses in Europe in 77, and really coming out really fully established in 1978. And when that happened, there was something very interesting that's going to lead right into Dr. Travis's talk tonight. And that is when we learned TM in the early days, all of us in the early days, everything was about being 1 in 100. All the scientific research that had come forward said that if one person out of 100 practiced transcendental meditation, that it would have a profound effect on accident rate, crime rate, happiness level, cooperation between people, and all kinds of crime rate would go down. All kinds of benefits from being 1 in 100. When the cities program came forward, then Maharshi said, we won't need that many people, because everything that's been coming about so far has been coming about from a few minutes, morning and evening, of contacting that transcendence and going into activity. But if we were able to think and act from that level and not lose that level within ourselves, then we would be much more effective in creating enlightenment for ourselves. And through that coherence, we call it, effect, Fred will tell us more about that, Dr. Fred will tell us more about that, that this influence would radiate out to society, and like that 1% effect, the square root of 1% would be enough to start to create coherence in world consciousness. So the whole task became much easier, and this is right at the transition time of the cities program coming out. And this is, Maharshi continued to develop that, and in fact, we continued to prove it with 26 experiments in different parts of the world where groups would come together and do their TM City program together in one place. And we'd see this wonderful influence for the individual and also for society. When Maharshi taught, in most all of the years that he taught, and if you look at early tapes, you will even see that he had Vedic scientists on one side of him, and he had modern day scientists on the other side of him, and he was in that middle. And so he always felt that that the results of TM, of advanced techniques and cities program, the results should be able to be shown in scientific experiments. And so not just hearsay or faith or something like that, or somebody thinks they're creating some good influence, but not actually be able to document it. And that's why we're so happy to have Dr. Fred Travis with us tonight. He is, as Sam had mentioned, foremost scientist on the group dynamics of consciousness, on TM, and particularly on the influence of the TM City program and the group dynamics of consciousness. And that's why he runs his own center for brain cognition and development of the brain and consciousness and cognition here at Maharshi International University. So we have the idea, thinking and acting from this level, and we can imagine what that would be like if we didn't lose that inner value and came into activity and had the support of that field that's actually supporting everything anyway, but we had it consciously open to our awareness. We know how we feel when we come out of meditation and we go into activity. We've rested, we go into activity, and we just feel, oh, it's so much smoother. I feel, oh, that creativity, it feels wonderful to create from here, to think from here, to act from here. Excuse me. So, Dr. Travis, would you bring us our next step in discussing adding the TM City program to our TM practice twice a day?
Thank you, Doug. We're very happy to be part of this discussion. I'd like to start where you started. You started with the TM practice. And it's critical because that's the basis of our TM City practice. What we see here is a brain. The brain is looking to the right. And what always is there is wakefulness. And that's what we see in these yellow lines underlying. The colored lines up above is thinking and experiencing and processing and so on. Now, what we're doing with our TM practice is, and what we just did is we started with a mantra and the mantra changed. Longer, shorter, change the pronunciation. And what this is experiencing the mantra at earlier levels of development, called refined levels. And what is happening as the mantra and the mind is following the mantra for finer levels is the thoughts are becoming secondary in experience. And what's beginning to come through is the underlying field of wakefulness, which is always there. It's driven by wakefulness circuits just coming up the spinal cord. So in our meditation, we had that experience of just fullness and unboundedness, and we were no longer localized in our house or our body. We were unbounded. That unbounded experience is supported by bounded brain function. It's the brain humming to itself, coming from the core of the brain, going up to the surface of the brain, and so on. Now, these loops that you're seeing take about 1/10 of a second, 100 milliseconds. So they go up 10 times a second. And this is the EEG we see during the experience of transcendental meditation. What we see here on the bottom is x-axis is time. Each column is a second. The different lines are 32 points on the scalp where we record brainwaves during TM practice. Let's just look at this part here. How fast is this going up? We can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a 9 to 10 cycle per second wave. This is what the brain is doing when it's just humming to itself. And notice the EEG waves are going up and down together. This is called coherence. And for a scientist, if two electrical signals from two parts of the brain are coherent, it means those two parts of the brain are working together. Because they're working together, the electrical signal is the same. You see, during TM, the coherence is seen over the whole brain. Maharishi has described the experience of the transcendent is total brain functioning. And this is what we're seeing. The whole brain is awake to itself. I'd like to show this with another picture. What we have here is now each column is a different frequency band. You see delta, which is the slowest, it's 1 to 4 cycles. Theta is 5 to 8. Here's the alpha 1 during TM practice. Now there's a line between different parts of the brain if those two parts of the brain are working together, if the coherence is high. And we see during TM practice, coherence is highest in this alpha 1 frequency band. And now we understand why, because that's the frequency of the brain just humming to itself of wakefulness. Now, what happens with the TM Siddhi program? What happens when you begin to think and act, function the transcendent? This is what the EEG looks like. See the difference? Here's TM, and this is a good meditation. Here's TM Siddhi practice. What we're seeing is coherence. And alpha 1, that's a frequency of transcending, is much higher than during TM. The TM Siddhi practice, as Doug was saying, is it stabilizes the experience of the transcendent. Also notice alpha 2 coherence is higher. Alpha 2 is the beginning stages of thinking and acting. What we're seeing here is both increased silence, increased stability of evenness of the transcendent, of pure consciousness, of being, and the ability to think. And as Maharishi's quote said that Amrita read, arriving at the level of unity consciousness. What this TM Siddhi practice is doing is it's exercising the brain to be able to think within the transcendent. This is the power of the TM Siddhi practice. What's the effect in daily life? They find people, a match study, which Michael Dilbeck, David Orm Johnson, Keith Wallace did. They looked at they looked at MIU students who stayed and learned the TM Siddhis over the summer compared to those that went home and came back. And those that stayed and learned TM Siddhi, they found that their decision-making was faster, their thinking was more flexible. They found that how the physiology was processing information was more quick. Now, how does this relate to collective effects? So let's put individual consciousness in the context of pure consciousness. We started TM practice, thoughts, feelings, mantra becoming finer, underlying field of pure consciousness is becoming more lively, and we experience our pure consciousness. Someone else comes in, they close their eyes. And we find that their thoughts become finer, inner quietness becomes fuller, and they experience pure consciousness. We're all experiencing our own pure consciousness. This is a point Maharishi made in India in the first Ayurveda course. We're experiencing pure consciousness through the functioning of our nervous system. It's our own experience, but it's an experience of the same value of life. This is the key point. What science knows is in the process of observing phenomena, you change it. So in the process of dipping into pure consciousness during TM, you're changing it. In the process of repeatedly going in and out of the transcendent during TM Siddhi practice, you're making a very powerful effect within the underlying field of pure consciousness, which then is just felt around the world. And we see this in individual studies. Someone in one room, a siddha, affects the coherence of a non-meditator next door. And when the coherence in the non-meditator is higher, they do better in the concept learning task. We see this in groups. If a group comes in and sits down and practices TM, a single person having their EEG recorded, when the group is practicing TM rather than reading a book, the person's experiences are deeper during TM. They have more of alpha-1 coherence, their breath is softer. Ken Walton has looked at the effect of blood chemistry, neurotransmitters in non-meditators in Fairfield, and the numbers of people practicing the TM Siddhi program in the dome. And as the numbers in the dome go up, the serotonin levels, which are good feeling, which is well-being, goes up, and cortisol, a chemical of stress, goes down. And when the numbers go down, we see this ratio changes in the non-meditators. So the whole Maharishi effect, the effect that we have on the environment, is bringing out the effect that we're not individual people colliding on the billiard ball table of life, but we're intimately connected. And by stirring the underlying field of pure consciousness with our TM, and in a more powerful way with our TM Siddhi program, we can have a very powerful effect on those around us. Thank you for this chance to talk, Dr. Jagrudat.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you, Dr. Fred. That was just wonderful. It gives, as it always has, all the way down through all the scientific studies and the group dynamics of consciousness that have been shown around the world, and particularly here in Fairfield from your research and so many others. It gives us great confidence. It gives us great confidence that something very real, some underlying field is there. We can reach that field, we can enliven that field, and we can start to think and act from that field, which is bliss on the individual level, wholeness, completeness, while we deal with the point value, individual values of our life that we're experiencing all the time. And even in that unity value that Amrita mentioned, and you mentioned, Fred, that even during waking and even during sleep and even during dreaming, as we cycle through these states of consciousness, that wholeness and that completeness is there. Now, the best one to describe this kind of level of experience is Maharishi. And so we've picked out a tape today for you. It was made in India. Linda and I happened to be there that day, and it was a very hot day, and we were sitting next to Maharishi, although in the section of the tape that's here, the camera doesn't switch over to us, but that doesn't matter. But Maharishi just gave the most extraordinary introductory talk about the TM Siddhi program. And when he got done, he said, what should we call that? And I said, well, let's use the words that you used, Maharishi, the master key for the descent of heaven on earth. So we're going to start that in just a minute, just a little preparation from Vedic science. In this tape, Maharishi talks about Sangita of Rishi Devata and Chandas. And those of you who've been studying your Vedic science, you know that Rishi Devata and Chandas are knower, process of knowing, and known. And those three coming together. So in any experience that we have, there's a knower, there's a process of knowing, and there's what is known. And in the transcendence, where there's just that one wholeness and completeness, those three are also there. But in the transcendence, they're all the same thing. Consciousness is the knower. What's known is consciousness, and Maharishi said when consciousness knows itself, and then also the process of knowing is consciousness. And the Sanskrit word for that is Sangita of Rishi, Devata, and Chandas. So just so that you understand that, he talks about it being the three in one nature, okay? Self-interacting dynamics, he calls them. So we have this tape, it's about 20 minutes long, and then after the tape, we'll see if there are some questions that have come up. Although you won't see the questions, you can put questions in your chat box, and we will see them there, and we can take some questions for any of us, and we can talk more about these experiences and principles. But I think you'll really enjoy this tape, and Amrita, would you please run that tape for us?
Jai Gurudev for the Age of Enlightenment. Ringing the bell of invincibility for every nation. His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Introduction to the Transcendental Meditation Siddhi Program. Transcendental Meditation Siddhi Program is the key to heavenly life on earth. Maharishi, 16th of February 1988, Maharishi Nagar, India.
We are now committed to create heaven on earth. During the second year of world peace, we have created for ourselves a target, and that is a supreme target to be achieved in the whole history of the world of all times. The target is to create heaven on earth. World peace. We have created for ourselves a target, and that is a supreme target to be achieved in the whole history of the world of all times.
Amrita, I think if you share screen, when you do screen sharing, you'll be able to see Maharishi.
Oh, I was doing that Dr. Father, can you reshare?
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Heaven on earth. During the second year of world peace, we have created for ourselves a target, and that is a supreme target to be achieved in the whole history of the world of all times. The target is to create heaven on earth. And heaven on earth means perfection in every field of life. What is our strength in undertaking to create heaven on earth? Our strength is the complete knowledge of natural law, which is the guiding light of all the infinite diversity of the whole ever-expanding universe. Natural law, so orderly, so definite, and so perpetually evolutionary, if one could have a complete knowledge of it, if one could have mastery over it, if one could have mastery over natural law, one would be the master of the whole universe. Our strength lies in gaining the mastery over natural law. Either we call it mastery over natural law, or the ability to spontaneously function according to all the laws of nature. Whatever we call it. The complete knowledge of natural law is with us today, with the grace of Gurudev. Complete knowledge of natural law is with us today, and we have that technology whereby the infinite creative potential of natural law is at our disposal. With this perfect science and technology of natural law, today we are in a position to do anything. With this opportunity, we thought to set up a goal of achievement. Heaven on earth. Now, what is that technique which gives us spontaneous ability to act according to all the laws of nature, or which gives us mastery over natural law? We know the total potential of natural law is Sanyata of Rishi Devata and Chandas, fully awake state of consciousness, unified field of natural law in terms of modern science. And this total potential of natural law, this unified field of natural law, is characterized by the availability of three in the structure of one. We call it, the structure of unified field is 3 in 1. And being 3 in 1, it becomes possible for the total potential of natural law or unified field or Sangita to function within itself. Because when there are 3, then 1, and all the 3 are fully awake, then their relationship are fully awake. And in this, each is reacting with each other. There is mutual communication between them all, and this creates dynamism in this structure of unity. This is called self-referral dynamism. Self-referral dynamism of the unified state of natural law is responsible for the unified state of natural law to appear as diversified values of different laws of nature. And this is how the universe is created, it's maintained, and it's always in the evolving situation. It's an ever-expanding universe. So in this situation, the nature of the unified wholeness of natural law is self-interacting. It interacts with itself. So this self-referral dynamism or self-interacting dynamics of fully awake value of consciousness is that total potential of natural law, which remaining always one, always remains diversified. So the unified state and diversified state, both states of natural law are available in the self-referral state of consciousness, which is transcendental consciousness. This transcendental consciousness has been discovered as a complete value of natural law. And complete means unified and diversified also at the same time. And when unified state of natural law and diversified values of natural law both are lively in the self-referral state of consciousness, which is unified state of consciousness, then our transcendental consciousness is a field of all possibilities. Then we own the total infinite creative potential of natural law in our transcendental consciousness. This ability is called mastery over natural law. This ability is called spontaneously functioning according to the evolutionary values of all the laws of nature. And when this has become very easy to achieve, when transcendental consciousness now, for 30 years we have been teaching around the world transcendental consciousness, we say effortless, simple, natural, effortless technique of transcendental meditation. So, mastery over natural law, or ability to spontaneously function according to all the laws of nature, has been simply gained through the natural program of transcendental meditation. And therefore, when we have the easy access to the total potential of natural law, then it's very natural for us to aspire for the highest goal. And what can be the highest goal? That would be the highest goal which is capable of satisfying everyone's desire. What is the desire of everyone? If we want one desire of everyone, to be most happy, to be most knowledgeable, to be able to know anything, to be able to do anything, heavenly life on earth, daily routine of life in the waves of bliss. This would be the desire of everyone. Therefore, if we put this achievement as our target, then it's quite legitimate for us to do so. Because anything and everything could be easily achieved through mastery over natural law. In our transcendental meditation, our awareness opens to this field of transcendental consciousness, which is the total potential of natural law. That means holistic value of natural law is available there, and diversified values of all the laws of nature are available there. So, in this state, it's our experience. All those who practice transcendental meditation, they know how very contented this state of experience is. How very blissful. One doesn't want to open the eyes, one doesn't want to come out. So, this, which is mastery over natural law, is embedded in transcendental consciousness. But because we know it from our experience, the mind transcends and comes back. It's like diving. You dive and you come out. You dive and you come out. You don't seem to stay there. In order to stay there, you need quite a lot of divings so that you become familiar with the depth of water. So transcendental meditation, after doing a few months, a few years, 1.5 years of transcending, morning and evening, very successful transcending, one begins to feel so very soothing in oneself. Stresses and strains are gone, and how very comfortable and harmonious one feels in body, in mind. And then is the program to practice behaving in that depth of transcendental consciousness, not just come and go. Because one wants to stay there. If it is possible to stay there, everyone would like to stay there. If it is possible to function on that level where bliss is a reality, where satisfaction, fulfillment is a reality, if one could stay there longer, and if one could stay there all the time, if one could befriend that level of experience, so that that experience continues day and night, that will be life desired by everyone in a natural way. And that life will be life in bliss, life in satisfaction, life in complete self-sufficiency, life in all possibilities, life of heaven on earth. So when we are aspiring to create heaven on earth, our aspiration is valid from this level of experience where one can function on that level where unified state of natural law is available and diversified values of all the laws of nature are also at the same time available. This is our TM Siddhi program. So the aspiration to create heaven on earth comes from about 80,000 people in the world. It's just 80,000. Looking to the whole population, it's just nothing. But nevertheless, it's quite a lot. 80,000 people learning to experience, learning to operate from that level, which is lively in the total potential of natural law and also lively at the same time in the diversified values of all the laws of nature. So 80,000, about 80,000 people functioning from that level, the nature is rising in the evolutionary direction. Positivity is growing. Harmony is growing in world consciousness. When a lot of purification has already taken place in the whole world consciousness, when the quality of consciousness is more in terms of evolutionary direction, when the quality of consciousness is more and more in its self-referral state, more and more self-referral, because more and more people practicing Siddhi program means more and more people are learning to operate from the level which we say self-interacting dynamics, operating from the level of transcendental consciousness. So the Siddhi program, now what I want to say is very, very precious. The Siddhi program is the key to heavenly life on earth. Just because it trains the performing mind to spontaneously function from that level, which is total creativity of natural law. Our aspiration to create heaven, our resolution to create heaven, our setting up a goal to create heaven is based on our mastery over that mechanics which trains the conscious mind to function from that level of the unified field. So the technique to gain mastery over natural law is the technique to create heaven on earth. TM Siddhi program. TM Siddhi program is really that marvelously fortunate program which has triggered the inspiration to create heaven on earth. Now, TM Siddhi program is an individual affair. But then, this individual program bringing about integration of mind and body, that you know from all the EEG experiments. This integration of mind and body creates an influence of integration in the environment of the meditator. It creates coherence in the environment of meditator. And when performed in the group, the entire group becomes a big, consolidated, integrated effect of a very powerful nature. And that effect radiates from the group to the whole world consciousness. That's why we are aspiring to create 10,000 people in one place, 7,000 to be sure, performing morning and evening, in order to radiate that evolutionary influence, that coherence in the whole world consciousness. And all that the scientific researchers have shown has given us the confidence that it's possible to create heaven on earth, and we have launched the program to create heaven on earth now, on every level. But the basic point of the aspiration and the basic point of the reality to create heaven on earth is the CD program that will train every conscious mind to function spontaneously according to all the laws of nature. And when life is lived according to natural law, from the religious platform, it is the life dedicated to the will of God. Natural law from scientific point of view, will of God is from the religious platform. So religiously, scientifically, we are in a position to create heaven on earth. The key is TM Siddhi program for the individual life, for the family, for the community, for the nation and the world. So the whole creation of heaven on earth, all life, always in the ways of success and progress, this has become a possibility in everyone's life and in the life of every community and nation and the whole world. All glory to Gurudev, and with the great blessings of the pure knowledge with infinite organizing power that Gurudev gave us, we say Jai Gurudev and create heaven on earth by being regular in our performance in the CD program and putting all the meditators in the world to do the CD as soon as possible, because it's now creation of a new civilization, creation of heaven on earth.
Jai Gurudev. So I think you'll agree, it's just a wonderful introduction to the TM City program. Again, basically what we did in short, taking us from what we know, what we practice, what we experience, and taking us on to the fulfillment of that. A few questions have come in, and we'll try to take those now. First question might be, what are the requirements for taking the TM City program? Well, you've probably heard from your advanced technique teachers that the four advanced techniques. And what we found is people who have worked their way through the four advanced techniques of TM have laid a wonderful foundation. They've been practicing for a while, and they're regular with their program. And it's a beautiful foundation to then go on to start to act from that field of pure consciousness. So 4 advanced techniques that you're already started on. And then you have to have one retreat or residence course, as we used to call it, where you come away from home for at least a weekend and settle down away from your responsibilities and following the routine there. You have to have some recommendations. You have to fill out an application form and so on. And this is all done at the local level, at the center level. And I want Sam to show the slide of where one would find out about these courses. Some of you with 1 and 2 advanced techniques, you have some time to go before you'd be ready for the cities program. But others could even move into courses this spring, or particularly quite a few courses coming up in the fall. So so this is the website, tmsiddhis.org, and you go there, and as you go down it, there is a place there that says schedule of upcoming courses. And so this website will be active into the future and always would show us, it'll show you now what courses are available in the spring, what courses are available in the fall, and how the course unfolds like that. The course is taught about generally 3 weekends or long weekends, and generally they're in a row. So you would come on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for about 2 hours each day, or a little bit more than that, perhaps. And that's where you learn the first part of the course. And the second part of the course, which I'm sure you've heard about before, is called yogic flying. And this is the part of the course that is most powerful, and that part of the course is learned in residence. So you come to MIU twice a year. We have the in-residence program here, and you come here and just immerse yourself in consciousness as a field of all possibilities. There's the website Sam is showing us here. Schedule of upcoming courses, there it is. And that schedule of upcoming courses, it has the prices of the courses. It has the location of the courses. We see here in New York, we see Fairfield, we see Phoenix, we see Houston, we see, so different centers around the United States having courses. And if you click on one of those, you see the contact people. If you're interested in taking part in that course, you can come to the one that's closest to you, or you could even travel here to MIU and stay here for a while. So you have these 3 long weekends in the center. And during the week, you can be taking care of your responsibilities, but during this time, you're learning the TM City program. And then the 2 weeks in residence can follow fairly closely to the in-center portion of the program, we call it, these 3 weekends. Or if that isn't convenient, you can come to the next one, which would be about 6 months later, or the next one 6 months later, like that. So you can come anytime in the future like that to complete your TM City program. A couple of questions have come in. Thank you, Sam. I think that's very clear and very easy for people to see. Okay, where are the courses? Is there anything near me? Is there anything at my center? And if there isn't something at your center, and you're interested, you can actually go in and talk to the people that are the TM teachers that are there and ask them about organizing for one, and we'll put you on the schedule. And if we have a small group that's ready, we'll come there and teach the city's program there. So a couple questions came in. The first one is really cute. I like this question. How does one know when they're enlightened? When Maharishi started teaching in the world, we were familiar with waking and dreaming and sleeping as states of consciousness that we cycle through every day. We all cycle through those. But Maharishi said, actually, there are 7 states of consciousness. There's waking state of consciousness, dreaming state of consciousness, sleep state of consciousness, transcendental consciousness, which you're all familiar with, transcending during TM, and then cosmic consciousness, when that value starts to not be lost. And the kind of test of that is very clear, that pure consciousness, the 4th state of consciousness, underlies all the other 3 previous states of consciousness. And so when one is enlightened, one doesn't lose that inner value of awareness as one cycles through waking, dreaming, or sleeping. Now, there are other wonderful things, acting from that level, gaining, as Maharishi was talking about, the support of the home of all the laws of nature, and using that to fulfill our desires and to enjoy our life. But this maintenance of pure consciousness. So after cosmic consciousness, and in cosmic consciousness, one can consider that they're enlightened. But also there's a little bit more that can go. There can be that inner value of awareness, and on the out, and when we're in activity, a finer value of perception of activity. And this, in the early days, Maharishi called God consciousness. And then in the end, unity consciousness, which makes perfect sense because having kind of two values of consciousness really can't be the ultimate. The ultimate is having it all unified into one wholeness, whether we're outward, whether we're inward, whether we're cycling through, waking, dreaming, or sleeping, or whatever else is going on. So I hope that answers your question in short. And your center chairman, people, would be glad to play you advanced lectures on that. And I think on the TM app also, you'll find references to talking about that state of enlightenment. Next question that came in is, how many siddhas are there worldwide? Well, when Maharishi made this tape, he said about 80,000 in the world. So that was some time ago. And although I don't know for you the exact number, there have been huge groups that have been established in India and Nepal and South America. Our leaders in those parts of the world have brought it into school systems and colleges and workplace and military and all kinds of, so really a lot. And I'm afraid I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. Sam, you don't know anything about that, do you?
No, I do know that Maharishi made reference in the video to large groups practicing together. And right now, there are several large groups that are coming together, including as many as 10,000 at a time. I don't know the exact number, but there's a great undertaking. There's a great project underway right now to put large groups and teach many people around the world.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just a couple of years ago, we had a group of 10,000 people were learning the Siddhis program, and they had the opportunity actually to come to India to do that. And we had a group of 10,000 people there. So it's growing, but we need the people practicing their Siddhis program together in one place to really create this global coherence effect.
There are a couple of other questions that have come in, Dr. Burks. One of them is there an age limit for someone to take the yogic flying portion of the course, that 2-week in residence?
Yes, the Siddhis program, I think, starts at 15 years old.
Okay.
Fully, to come and take finish the whole course. Giving the nervous system a chance. Obviously, the development of the nervous system is so completely important here. Giving the nervous system a chance to develop. We know it's developing so much in those early days.
And is there an upper range on the age limit?
No, we are sometimes quite surprised, although some of us are getting along in age ourselves, but there isn't an upper limit. As long as one is healthy and active and mobile and so on like that, there isn't an upper limit. We sometimes have, on our last course, we had 4 or 5 people that were in their late 70s, and I think we had a couple of people that were past 80 years old on the course.
Yes, I remember they did very well, everyone.
They did do very well, yeah.
Yes. Another question is, are there dates for the 2-week portion of the program? And I happen to have just read those, that the next 2-week in-center portion is June 26th to July 10th. And that will take place in Fairfield, Iowa at the campus of Maharishi International University. And then, as Doug had mentioned, in December, late December, there'll be a second course right around the Christmas holidays, December 26th to January 10th.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so those
Thank you.
dates for that.
Thank you, Sam. You had that right at your fingertips. Another question has come in. Do you have a certain level? You need to have a certain level of flexibility. Well, I think you have to be. You should be in good health because it all is dependent on the nervous system, and along the way you learn Maharshi's asanas. If you haven't learned them yet, you learn those on that in-residence program as a prerequisite to the course, and you would be practicing those every day. And those are very helpful in being able to stretch and turn, and they're not really exercises, they're postures, but they do culture the physiology like that. So each person will be considered in terms of their application and their level of, we don't really ask about flexibility, but if you can do normal things in your life, I think you'll be fine. It's good to sit in a nice upright position, but it's not absolutely necessary. Even some people sit in chairs to get started and so on like that.
The next question is, can I take the in-person section and do the rest at a later time? And just to clarify to everyone that you had mentioned that there are 3 weekends. That's the in-person. It's actually called the in-center. You would do that locally in your own TM center or the closest center that's offering this. 3 full weekends, and then the 2-week in residence is at a later time. But go ahead, Doug, and answer that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So there's these 2 sections, and they can be split apart. And you do, once you start into those first 3 weekends, you have to be able to make all those dates. So you complete that section of the course and then come when it's convenient for the flying block. Mm-hmm. Very good.
The next question, I'm sorry, go ahead, Doug.
No, is there another question?
Well, there was a question that came up for Dr. Travis.
Good.
And the question was that Dr. Travis had spoken about creating a more coherent, functioning brain. What are the practical benefits that I could expect to see from accelerating the coherence of my brain functioning?
Great question. That was on 2 levels. When the actual thinking is clearer, there's less worry thoughts or less concerned thoughts, but also the level of intuition is stronger. You're less lost in the outer details of experience, and you're able to appreciate the larger flow of what is there. Because you're appreciating life less from the outer change and more from the inner silence. And so this is what you can see with greater coherence and brain functioning.
Dr. Travis, would you also mention one of the things that happens, and we notice this just from our TM practice, is we react to stressful situations more smoothly. It doesn't create as deep an impact. It doesn't get stored as long. We recover from it more quickly like that. Will you tell us a little bit more about how that works?
Yes, thank you, Doug. There's 2 responses to an overwhelming situation. One is challenge and one is stress. In the challenge response, what happens is the brain functions more clearly, you process information more quickly, you're able to see all of the details of the environment, and you're able to come up with deep creative solutions. When you perceive that it's too much, it's actually a perception. When you think, I can't do this, and then there's a stress response. And in the stress response, your ability to see the full picture drops off, the whole central executive system drops off, and you really lock in, you have tunnel vision. And what is happening is just this matter of perception. And what's happening as we're transcending, we're beginning to realize that we're not an individual person of an age, of an education. But we begin to realize that who we are is that silent field of the transcendent, which we experience daily. And it's that quiet stability, stable platform. And so we begin to process from there. And so we actually see the same situation differently. This is called perceived stress in science, and what's found in the cadets at Norwich, which is a military academy, the students in South Africa, the students at MIU, adults. What TM does, it allows them to see the situation as a challenge and not a stress. And in this perceived stress scale, we find that they go down on that measure. So it's happening because the knower, as you said so clearly, the knower is beginning to become part of our daily activity. So that whole perception of knower-known process of knowing is changing. And in terms of what's happening in the EEG, there's another important part of the body called the autonomic nervous system. It's the stress response system, which responds to challenge, or the parasympathetic. What TM is doing, it's resetting the stress response system. It's setting it down to a more even level so that when you're in a situation, you come from a more stable place. This is why veterans, PTSD, they meditate for a week and their suicidal thoughts are ceasing. Their sleep is improving. How is that possible? It's because this process of the transcending is actually resetting the sympathetic nervous system. So that's some reflections on that, Doug.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad that you're with us, and you just explained that so well. I think that must be so clear to everyone. When Maharishi used to teach us, he would have, and many of you know so many aspects of this, but he would just give us the most beautiful, simple analogies of understanding this. So his simple analogy for us in the early days was, mother is at home. And he said a child, we all have seen a small child when mother is not at home and the child is fearful and everything's kind of threatening. And we have that stress response that you're talking about. And we challenge and we think we can't do it. And when mother is at home, Maharishi said, he runs, and even if he falls down and hits his knee, he doesn't care because mother is at home. And you feel that confidence and that wholeness and that completeness, and the stressful stimulus does not go as deeply to be held over a long, long period of time. So it's remarkable. It's wonderful. Want to say more, Fred? Sam, you wanted to say something?
Well, I have another question, but Fred, do you have another point on this?
I think we've covered that quite clearly.
Okay, good. Okay. Go
The
ahead,
next
Sam.
question that has come in is that, can we say that with the city program, we essentially bypass having to first stabilize the fifth state of consciousness, cosmic consciousness, and go straight to the seventh, or unity consciousness? I think somebody is in a hurry and they want to get there as quickly as possible.
They want to go right for the goal. I love that. I love that question. No, we don't skip states of consciousness, but it might be possible to spend a lot less time getting through those states of consciousness. In other words, more quickly. Remember in the beginning how I said shrink that gap between our ability to transcend and that time that would be coming when it was permanent. But still, we'll always go through those 7 states of consciousness. So great question. All right.
Next question was a very practical question about what is the cost of taking the TM City program?
TM Siddhis program, it involves a lot of time and so on, like that. Time from your side and time from our side, and teaching and all of that. So it is $3,600 for taking the in-center portion. And then there's a room and board charge, which has been coming out. So when you're here for the 2 weeks, your room, your heat, your food, your transportation, all the things that are involved in that 2 week at about $1,400, which is quite reasonable these days. So we probably should wrap up. Most everyone has stuck with us through the hour and a half. And I want to thank everyone for being on here. And I wanted to finish tonight, if everybody's ready for that, with some experiences. As people finish the TM Siddhis program, they often, for graduation or just they want to write up what their experience is, and ask Linda to pick out 4 short ones that she could read to the group as a finish for get some water. Hi. To finish our discussion tonight.
All right. So the first one, the TM City program with yogic flying has been the most powerful, most fun, and most deepening experience. Excuse me. It's amazing how I can laugh and laugh, fly higher and higher, and go deeper and deeper in my soul, my Atma. The next one. As I began to meditate in the dome for the first time, I thought, wow, this must be what it feels like to be in the Olympics. Both are in service of world peace. With the TM City program, everyone wins. Jager Dove. And then our next one, my experience of the TM City program is profound and creates an environment of collective growth and deep connection. This journey has brought me inner peace, self-discovery, and has enriched my life in unimaginable ways, leaving a lasting impact on my heart and mind. And then finally, Dr. Nader wrote, consciousness is all there is. We are thankful for the tools given to us by the TM City program, the tradition of masters, and our wonderful teachers. We are thankful to Maharshi for the knowledge he spread to the world and enriching our spiritual paths. Jai Gurudev. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
That's wonderful, just wonderful. Sam, just to finish off, as people are signing off, would you show the picture of the Golden Domes when we learn yogic flying? And we're here at MIU. We go into the Golden Domes and are there with everyone. There's a men's dome and a ladies' dome, and you want to show them the view from inside there? Do you have that?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Let's.
Right above that, yeah.
There we go.
These beautiful domes were constructed to see they don't have any pillars or anything in them, so they're this dome. So it makes a big surface for everyone to sit all together and do their whole TM City program, TM Advanced Techniques and TM City program together. So please come and join us there. We'd love to have you participate, and you're doing very, very well with your advanced techniques. You're already on the path. Just continue with that, enjoy the effortlessness, the easiness, and the growth of consciousness that's taking place in every step along the way. Although that one person said, can we skip states of consciousness? Every day, Marcia used to say, every day is life. And it isn't that we're only really going to be living life in that state of unity, but every day is life. And he says, so every day we have to sharpen that machinery of perception. And every day when we do our TM and when we do our advanced techniques, and eventually when we do the Cities program, we're sharpening that machinery of perception, as Dr. Fred brought out to us so beautifully, with all those connecting lines in all the different parts of the brain, showing brainwave coherence. And Marcia really felt that then, instead of using this part of the brain for something and this part of the brain, you can see how scientific I am. Not so scientific, but but instead of using all different parts of the brains operating in different ways, that the whole brain was functioning together in that coherence. So thank you, everyone. Any final thoughts from anyone? Sam?
Thanks. Pardon me. Thanks everyone for joining. A special thanks to Blair Butterfield for his technical assistance on all of this.
Very much.
And, of course, from Amrita and everyone else. So if you have more questions, please visit TM-City or TM-Cities, TM-SIDHI.org. And you'll probably answer all your questions, or feel free to go to your local TM center as well and talk to the TM teachers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Jay Gurudev.
Thank you, Derek. Great to be here.
The recording has stopped.